into television and film. Now, there is no, there's no formula to this. I think oftentimes the conversation is generic. How do I get my music into television and film? Right? Makes sense. Number one, you have to have records that are worthy of television and film. What does that mean? Depends on what kind of television and film you're looking for. It definitely does. But okay, let's start from here. I'll tell you how I did it. Somebody else may have a completely different journey. How did I do it? So, at the time I was opening, I had a recording studio with very good friends of mine, business partners. We opened up a recording studio, I want to say 2017. No, about 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. We opened up a recording studio. And I remember I was recording a lot of the sessions for artists just to pay the rent. And I hated it, man. I hated it. I felt like I was doing records for and not all the artists because I had some really great artists I was producing and engineering, but there were just some that I was like, yo, I'm just doing this to pay the rent, and it wasn't fulfilling. And so I said, wow. In my head, I'm thinking, what is it that I can do to be able to pay the rent in this studio without me having to jeopardize um my creative prowess in a sense, right? So what is it that I need to do, or what could I do? And for me, the idea came licensing, right? It just hit my spirit like a ton of bricks, and I was telling my business partners, I said, yeah, from here on out, we now make music for television and film. That was about 2018. 2019, I got my first placement on BET. How did I do that? I would go to a lot of indie film festivals. Now, I was nobody then. You know what I mean? I still consider myself just a guy doing his thing. But I was literally nobody at that time. And I was able to meet so many people, right, who did music, who were doing TV and film. Like even a lot of my good friends now. Some of my road dogs are people who are actors, directors, writers, in film. I'm closer to them than I am niggas in music. You know what I'm saying? And um, it wasn't even always like that. At first, it was I just knew a lot of artists, and then from there, it was kind of like I just gravitated toward film, and then like my actual closest friends became people who act, write, direct. And so it was kind of one of those things that just made sense. And so time after time, I was getting my chops up. You have to understand, I have been making music for television and film since 2018. 2025, we do brand new, right? So that's about a 7 year age gap from the time I started to where I am now. And I've done All American. I've done oh God, I don't even know. I've done Cop Watch on BT. I did The Hype on HBO. Um, no, is that no? That's Max. Yeah, HBO Max. I did The Hype on there. I did some other stuff. I be forgetting what I done did. Oh, a commercial. I did a Taco Bell commercial. I got quite a few placements, and a lot of that came from. I think a few of them came from knowing people who were doing music for television, for film and television, knowing the guys who just did it, and saying, "Hey, I'll do it." Literally, I think that's how a lot of this really came up. It wasn't even anything that was crazy. It was just sort of like God was like, "Yo, it's time to start. It's time to do something different. Music for television and film." Because did I really want to be the guy that was, and me just being transparent? Did I really want to be the guy that was just on the stage, jumping around, having to do that all day, every day to get a check? No, I didn't. I wanted to be the guy who could make a shit ton of money from his home studio, put it out into the world, and then be able to live well, right? And so that was my biggest thing, and I didn't even know it at the time. It was just one of those things where I was like, yo, I want to do music for television and film. Went to the Indie Film Festival, my first placement. I met a guy by the name of Paul Stewart. Paul Stewart had been doing a lot of things. He worked with a lot of black artists, white boy Paul Stewart. And if y'all ever in Leimert Park, y'all have probably seen Paul Stewart. Uh, White guy. Think Paul Stewart might be Jewish or something. And I met him by way of Robbie Reed, which was the head of casting for a long time at Viacom or BET. And so met them. Actually, we got invited to the film festival by Robbie Reed because my business partners, their father was a Broadway actor. He knew Robbie. We were able to make the connection. And then from there, she goes, hey, Paul, I don't know if you know so-and-so, which is us, them. If you know them, y'all should connect. And from there, I sent Paul Stewart over maybe 20 records. I sent them over probably 20 records, including instrumentals and everything. And that had never been put out. Some had been put out, maybe. All unreleased music. And he picked one of them. I think he picked 3, 4 records. One was called OG. I made that just as a beat one day, and I was gonna rap on it, and I just never did because it just felt so TV like. OG, and I forgot the other record, and then there were 2 more records, one that Maestro and I did, and we pitched it, and they picked it up, and then fucking cut the check, and like, I think the check was like $1,200 for that one record, right? Or I think it was $1,200 for 2 records. It was 600 for the usage, and then another 600 for another usage, and then plus my royalties on the back end. So BMI went up, right? BMI publishing went up, and I've never looked back since. A lot of people, the conversation is, oh, you know, I met this person and did this. Nah, for me, it was very much so I met a guy who's the guy I need to talk to, and I just shot him a gang of records. Even now to this day, when I meet people who are music supervisors, I just send them a shit ton of records. I think that is extremely important that you have records on hand that are sitting. If you have those records on hand that are sitting when the opportunity comes up, you'll be ready to send that record. I have a disco link. I believe it's called disco.io, something like that. But it allows you to put all of your records into a library, your own library, and you can send out the link to anyone who is looking for music for submissions. Now, I don't do that as much now because I pretty much have people who look for me. After about 7 years of doing this, people start to look for you to get the job done. It's funny, after people heard my records in Brand New, they were like, you know, even the tequila brand approached me and was like, yo, we need records for our tequila brand. We're doing a tequila brand for bosses, and we want your records. We need records from you to do that. The NFL kind of approached us by way of a publishing house or a sync house, and they hit us up and was like, yo, we need this production with your vocals. And I was like, bet. And we knocked out like 4 of the records, and actually they're getting mixed down now as we speak. And so for me, it's one of those things where, you know, really being able to put your intentions and your vision forward and going through with that, life finds a way to make your gift will literally make room for you. And that's what it did. I can't even say that this was some drawn out conversation that I had and God, you know, whispered this, and, you know, and he sent a bird and the bird spit on my face and said, this is what you do now. Nah, it wasn't even that. It was just like an inclination that kind of came up in me, pause, or just came over me. And I was like, yo, it's time to make music for television and film. I told my business partners, we would like bet. I started cooking up records for that. The opportunity presented itself because there were so many film festivals that we were just never going to. And so Once we started going to the film festivals, we started meeting people who needed music. You see how that goes. And then as their career elevates, um, and you become better and you add value to their situation, you'll be surprised on how many people in that space look out for you. And it's very much so family oriented, family type environment where DPs, ADs, PAs, which is DPs, director of photography, ADs, assistant directors, and PAs, which are production assistants. They kind of all look out for each other. It's kind of a thing. It's like, hey, if you get a job, you put me on a job, et cetera, et cetera. And so I became the guy who was just doing music and cranking out these records. And I had so many records that you got to pick one. You got to pick something. So I think another thing that people fail to realize is it's tough going up against a guy like me because not only can I crank out these records quickly, but I pretty much kind of know what people are looking for. I know what the NFL is looking for when they're like, "Hey, we need records that are like Anthem." I know what they're looking for. And sometimes we just create the records and then we pitch them for that, and then they love the authenticity of it, and so they pick up the record. I think that Taco Bell commercial might have been like 30 grand. I think we split probably just over 30 grand, something like that. And so when my friend calls me to do records, I say, "What time do you need me to be there?" That was off of one placement. And actually, it's crazy. We made that record. That record is called Like This. We made that record, and they only used like 30 seconds. We made that record just because. And we ended up pitching it. And they took the record. And so when it comes to a guy like me, it's tough because I'm sending 100 records. I'm sending 50 bangers, 20 bangers strong. You see what I'm saying? And so when it comes to that, this is a numbers game. You want to be able to have instrumentals if you're a producer, because I can produce and I'm an artist and I actually write. I literally have production credits as a producer. Like even when I did All American, that's just me being a producer. That's just me being a producer. And I think Warner paid out maybe in total 15 racks for that record. Just about 15 grand for that record. And all I did was produce it. That's all I did was produce it. Mitchell Edwards, who plays Cam on the show, good friend of mine as well. He did the vocals to it a while ago, and we did that record like in 2019, and that is just now paying dividends in 2025. So you never know where it's going to come from. You have to create. You have to create. You have to create. Anybody who is telling you anything differently is fucking lying to you. I am not here to lie to you. I am here to tell you exactly how I did it and what it paid. Period, point blank. Actually, let me see if I even got the check stubs for. I might still have them. So I can't find them right now. They're definitely in my files. I got to figure out where they are. I'll definitely show you guys. I'll definitely show you guys the check stubs to that, and actually for All American Warner, they just sent me a direct deposit. You have to get into the Warner Brother portal, the whole nine. But once again, It's not that complicated. I literally send over the records, and a lot of the time, that even the Warner Brothers situation for All American, they came to me. I didn't go looking for it. Mitchell hit me up and was like, "Yo, I want to use this record for the Woody Woo," because they were transitioning his character from football player into artist. He had already had these two records. I was top of mind. Sent the record in. I was like, "My nigga, love you, thank you, appreciate you," and they ended up sending the record. So it's a matter of me making records from the heart because I love making records, not songs, not just music. I love the craft. I love the making of this shit. And so when it comes to the money, that's just an addition. Just an addition. And so we did the splits, signed up the contracts, and they're always non-exclusive. Now, the other ones I have with another sync company, it's an exclusive agreement. So we make these records for them specifically. I cannot put these out. I cannot do anything with these. We make these records. I give them my BMI or my publishing information, and then I get the publishing on the back end. But as far as when it comes to the actual record, they have the exclusive rights to usage of that record. You see what I'm saying? So it just depends. Everything that I've done with All American non-exclusive agreements. And the difference between exclusive agreements and non-exclusive agreements are, so for Like This, which was the Taco Bell commercial, that was the non-exclusive. So if we want to, we can use that record in another movie, in another commercial, and something else. No penalty, no contractual, no breach of contract, because it's non-exclusive. It's a non-exclusive agreement. So the records that I make now, I make those records. I put those out on DSPs or on my digital distribution platforms. I put those out, and then if I need to pitch them, I will pitch them, and then that becomes a non-exclusive agreement. The record that I did with Mitchell is a non-exclusive agreement for All American Homecoming Season 3, and I think I have four. I want to say I had about 4 spots in that season. So 4 slots in that season, and they pay for every single slot. They pay for every single slot. Trust me, they do. TV money is good, and a lot of people aren't touching it. They never see it, because I think that they don't know who to contact or who to get into. Is it a little bit of luck? Maybe. I think that for me, because this was just something that God placed inside of me, all I have to do is create, and the opportunities will come to me, and I go, "Hey, listen, I have records if you guys ever need it." "Oh yeah, we're looking for records now," and then I just send them my disco link because I have it, and I'm always on the go, so I can just send it to them on the go. They can just work through it, look through it, and when you go to my social media, it looks like I make music for a television and film. You see me do the production, you see me make the beats, you see me cut the vocals, you see me engineer it. I mean, Jesus Christ, I have my IMDb up, for Christ's sakes, right? And so that's how I got into the game. Now, most people do it a different route. Most people go do an email blast and sending email after email after email. That may work for you too. For me, it's about getting outside. It's about watching your favorite films. It's being where the films are being made. It's doing that. I am a moviegoer, which means that I have AMC A-list. So I go to the movies all the time to see any and every type of movie I possibly can, because as someone who makes music for television and film, I need to know what it looks like, what it feels like, and then do something like that adjacent. So I don't want to do that specifically, because they're not looking for you to recreate the wheel. They are looking for you to give something that is an additive to what they're doing. Mood, energy, vibration. When it comes to television and film, that is what they're always looking for. They are not looking for you to do something that is already being done. They are literally matching music to emotion. That is it. And I think that's where so many people get it confused and get it wrong. And they go, "Man, I don't even know where to look." And it's like your music isn't good. I have records that are just not good. some of my best friends be like, as we're creating music for the thing, they go, "This isn't good. No, I don't like this. This is lazy. What are you doing? And I go, I'm doing it. I'm done. I go, I'm doing the thing. And they're like, no, this is terrible. Do better. What's the story? You know what I mean? What are you saying? What is the emotion that we are trying to evoke? And then literally as we are creating, we will turn on something that fits in that same vein. And it's funny because as I'm even talking to you guys about this, I am watching Platonic with Seth Rogen. And so what does that mean per se? Well, you turn off the film and you put it on mute and then you start to make music. Make music for that scene. Turn it on mute. Make music. Make something for that. Does it fit? Probably not. Does it? If it does, now you got something. Now you're cooking with gas. And so that's pretty much what you want to be able to do. This is something that is not for the faint of heart. You have to be bold. You have to be brave. They are looking for people who are confident, who are authentic, and who are great at what they do. No cursing in the records that you are pitching. Please, no cursing in the records. I curse in some of my records, but even then I may do a clean version for the record and then pitch the clean version. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you're going to do an explicit version, do a clean version as well. I promise you, you are welcome. You are welcome. I promise you that will serve you in so many places because 9 times out of 10, you're not the hottest artist out. So if you're not the hottest artist out, you need to be able to give them record after record after record, and it needs to be to where they go, listen, hey, can we just add a horn section here, or can we give more liveliness to the production? By the grace of God, when I send in my vocals, they never ask me to change it. They never go, hey, we were looking if you could just kind of tone it down or pick it up here. They never do that by the grace of God. And that's because, um, you know, one of my dearest friends that I actually create the music with, he is a technician. The nigga is a savant when it comes to this. And so he goes, this is what we're looking for. This is what they need. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not saying that. And I go, my job is to create bar after bar after bar and make it make sense and use my vocal print and my gift in order to tell a story or convey a message or a type of energy. And his job is to be the technician that he is and go, okay, well, I'm going to do stabs here. I'm going to do risers here. I'm going to bring the energy up here, energy up there. A lot of the changes that they ask is really for production. It's never for my vocals because we make sure that we get it right a certain way. Now, will that change in the future? It may, right? Not even a problem with that. If they go, hey, can we? Not a problem with that. But for a lot of time, they want us to make music that we like, that we make, that come from us. And so, by the grace of God, I'm not under any contracts um, that make it difficult for me to create because I can create at leisure and then make money off of it. Um, so yeah, I mean, how do you get into the space? How often are you watching movies? How often do you go to the movies? I go to the movies by myself, middle of the day, and I literally like even in my past relationships, the movie isn't even the move. Going to the movies is no longer a date for me. I look at it as research. What are the records? What do they feel like? What do the movies feel like? I need records that match this. I love the soundtrack for Sinners. The music that was in Sinners, I love it. Raw Wave, love the record. Absolutely loved it. When we did Brand New, my boy was like, yo, actually the director goes, we need a soundtrack. And in a matter of weeks, we made the soundtrack. And I had already had records that I was like, yo, you got to hear this. And that became inspiration for the soundtrack. And from there, we were able to cultivate a soundtrack. I mean, the music was already great because it was a hip hop type of short film. Once again, y'all got to check it out. It's called Brand New. It's on AMC Plus and All Black. We will be here for a while. I guarantee you that. And so, looking up music supervisors, staying when the credits are rolling, paying homage to the people who are making these films. Stay for the credits. Stay for the credits. Stay for the credits when you go to the movies and the credits roll. Those are the people who make it what it is. You look at the first 10 names on the credits and the characters and you go, these are the people. No, it's the grip team. It's the visual FX. It's craft services. The people who provide the food. It's the music supervisors. It's the people who do color. Those are the people you want to know, you want to get into, or you want to get in good with, or get in contact with, and you'll never know. You'll never know providing what how. You'll never know how far providing value will take you. I never looked at using music as pay me for my music. I go, how can I provide value in whatever it is you're doing? Because I genuinely fuck with your art. How can I provide value for that? And I think most people don't provide enough value, and that's why you don't see enough money when it comes to your craft. Period. You're looking for a check for something that you're not even good at versus providing value. And if it's valuable, they're going to pay for the value. That is how value works. And not even just the music business, but in all business. Provide value, and then they'll pay for it. And so literally, that is one of the things that I did. I just provided value. What am I? My value in entertainment is me being able to make music that makes you feel a way. My tone, it invokes an emotion of hope and anthem and champagne popping or struggle, angst and poverty and getting out of that, or champion, hands up, everybody stand up. Hands up, everybody stand up. Throw your flag in the air and then put your hands up. Fresh out the huddle with no rebuttal and no remorse. I'm in the trenches with dogs, the type who stayed the course. Like, anthem vibration. That is what I am giving. That is what I am exuding. And once again, I don't do it for the check. I promise you, I do not do this for the check. I make enough money outside of music to where it allows me to be effective when it comes to it. And so now that I am being sought after, my job is to continue to stay on the gas and to make music that reflects what is going on in certain spaces. Sports, life, heartbreak, champion, triumph, right? Triumphant, you know what I'm saying? Celebratory, winning, seasons, things like that. And so make music that's good. Don't curse in the records. Do good production. Don't use samples. Even royalty-free samples can be a bit tricky. Create. Just create. Just create. And then listen to the music that you see and then go from there. And then go from there. So I think that you all will be able to have, take this, run with it. This is 30 minutes of, I wouldn't even say really just game. I think it's just principle. I think what I'll do is I'll probably give a little more game as we go, but that's really just principle. Be where you want your music to be, and then go from there. I think that's it. That's all, people. I love you guys. And like I said, I'm still thinking and hashing it out and seeing how we're going to take the Patreon to the next level. But rule number one, if you want to get into music for television and film, you need to be watching television and film. You need to be going to the movies. You need to be staying for the credits. It's principle. It's energy. So when you respect that, because you respect it, there is knowledge and wisdom and information that you gain from respect. People don't understand. The best way to get into these rooms is to serve your way to the top. That's what I have been doing. That's what I will continue to do. I will continue to provide value to the people that I love and that I respect. And I don't ask for money. because this is my art. I am using this to elevate. I have a whole nother business where I make damn good money. When it comes to this, the goal is elevation. The goal is to provide actual value. And if my music provides value, that is what we do. And in turn, when you provide value, people they want to do anything and everything that they possibly can in order to make sure that this person is um, fairly compensated or overcompensated. So provide value nonstop. Don't give up. If you're doing it for a check, you probably won't get one. So continue to work, continue to love the art, continue to make great art. Go to the movies, watch your favorite films. If you like a film, replay it, put it on mute, make music to that scene or that film. If you were like, if they hired me to do this, what would I do? Do that. That is what you do. And then you go, hey, listen, guys, I made this record for this. And they may hit you back and be like, oh my God, we love this. Hey, can we use this? And then they'll pay to use that. Or they may just not respond at all. But if you're doing it because you love it, none of it even matters. So do it because you love it. Make great records. No vulgarity. No cursing. No specifics. No brand specifics. Yeah, just do it. No, what if Adidas wants it, right? Um, when it comes to athletics, do something that's general, right? Don't talk about football or baseball per se or knocking it out the park. Say more lines that have to do with winning the game, running, jumping, work ethic, motivation, 4 a.m.s. It doesn't matter what sport you play. They know about the early morning. They know about the training. They know about the running the game. They know about going for the gold. They know about blood, sweat, and tears. That is what you want to rap about. Champion people. And then when it comes to anything else, just create music and then pitch it. When you see these music supervisors, look them up on LinkedIn, see what they're talking about, and go, hey, I would love, 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 love to be able to send you some music. Ask what you're working on. Ask how can you help? How can you provide value? Go from there. There's a lot of film festivals that go on. Pull up at these film festivals. Let them know what you're working on. Let them know, hey, you're down to get into it. I got 50 records for you right now. I guarantee they're going to take one of those 50 records. But you have to have the music. It always starts with the music. So love it. Go hard. Watch television. Watch film. Do not do this for the money, because if you do, you will be highly disappointed and broke. Trust me, I've seen it. I do not make music for money. That is why they pay me to make music. I can't tell you the science on it. I just know what this is. So, yeah. And make the fucking music, people. That's it. And so actually, as we say this, I have to make some records for a friend of mine. He has a session tomorrow with Red Bull. And so I'm gonna make a few beats for him. That way when he goes in tomorrow, he can do some fly shit. So love y'all. Once again, the boy is out. And I will see y'all later.